Hey there guys, it's MyGamesGX here, and we're going to be doing another episode of How to Play Branded, and this episode is going to be on everything you need to know with looping Mirrorjade. So Mirrorjade is is probably the most important card in your deck besides Branded Fusion, honestly. This boss monster does so much for your deck. Even if you play the Dracotal version, it's very good. And this card is a non-target banish, right? It just requires Fallen Valbaz plus basically any extract monster, and then also if it's sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls in the end phase. So this card is one of the most broken cards in the extra deck, being a non-target banish. A lot of decks just can't get over that fact because non-target means that your opponent has to interact. Like they won't know what you're going to banish, so they're going to be forced to use their effects no matter what, and it forces a lot. So now, the thing is about this effect, it's a soft once per turn. It doesn't say you can only use this card's effect once per turn. It says once per turn, so essentially, if you are able to summon out a new copy of Mirrorjade, or essentially this copy leaves and it comes back somehow, you can use it. You can use its banish effect, and the fact is, it sends for cost, right? An extract monster, which helps you extend, right? You can send Titanclad, Dogma, which helps you either break a board or stop an unboard, essentially. So it's very useful, and a lot of the times you can actually loop Mirrorjade up to 3 to 5 times with Branded. So I'm going to show you all the ways to do that so people understand that, and just show you just some of the setups that you can have to do that. I've gotten this question before. I feel like this is going to be just something really core to learning Branded that we could spend like a whole episode on. So essentially the ways to loop the Mirrorjade primarily is by obviously having the first Mirrorjade, but then also having a setup of the Guiding Quem. This is going to be your most common way to loop Mirrorjade, because the Guiding Quem can revive any monster that mentions Fallen Valbaz, and obviously Mirrorjade also mentions Fallen Valbaz, even in its fusion requirements, that counts. And when a card leaves the extract, Quem gets to target one monster that mentions Fallen Valbaz and revive it. And this is a very common unboard piece in Branded, whether you just have Branded opening on your unboard, but more commonly it will be through the Titaniclad, the Ash Dragon, special summoning it out in the end phase. So a lot of the time you can either have a Quem, and then a way to fuse off the Mirrorjade, such as the the Blazing Cartesia, which is one of your most common, another very common unboard piece or monster in your graveyard that will come back eventually. But if you're able to set up Cartesia plus Quem on the field plus Mirrorjade, that's a great way to do it. And then also Adlib is something that is one of the biggest ways in the past to loop Mirrorjade that not a lot of people run anymore. But I think with Lock looking pretty bad this format in particular, that might be pretty good going forward. And essentially, if this card is used as a fusion material and sent to the graveyard or banished, you can target one level 8 or higher fusion monster, and that's banished during your graveyard, and special summon it. So essentially, you can use Adlib if it's fused off of something and you have like a Mirrorjade, let's just say banished, because you went Branded in red target, something to make Stapelia fusing off the Mirrorjade, like your Albaz. And then because your Mirrorjade was already used, you can trigger the Adlib, and then you can just revive the Mirrorjade. So that's your second Mirrorjade banish. But then also there's cards like Albion the Sanctifier Dragon, which is another way to do this, because Albion the Sanctifier Dragon allows you to target up to 2 monsters in either graveyard and special summon them to either field. So one of the most common ways is to fuse off Mirrorjade and get into the graveyard with Sanctifier through Grand Guignol, like make the Grand Guignol with the Mirrorjade and the Cartesia, send like the Ido lock, and then you can just use the Sanctifier that you hopefully have in this situation, then revive the Mirrorjade, and then you get whatever, a third banish. And then also there are cards like Branded Banishment, which is just quite literally a targeting revive for a level 8 or higher fusion monster, and Mirrorjade's level 8. So you can revive it, and this is a good way also if you just fuse it off, right, to make Stapelia or Grand Guignol. And this is very easy to set in your deck off of like things like Albion. So this is another Albion the Branded Dragon in the end phase. So it layers really well with Quem and Cartesia right there. So that's like a fourth way to get Mirrorjade back in rotation. And then the fifth way that just came out, it's coming on Blazing Vortex, or sorry, Burst Protocol. And essentially, it's Tri-Brigade Spriggan's Kit, and this card's broken because you can search in the end phase off of Dogma the Devouring Dragon, since it's a Tri-Brigade monster. But essentially, the only effect that's relevant for Branded is if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one of the following monsters from your graveyard in defense position, and it is a Fallen of Albaz or a monster that mentions it. This is not targeting, by the way, so your opponent can't like know what you're going to be summoning either way. So this is another really good searchable way to revive out Mirrorjade, and it's literally just once ever sent to the graveyard, which is crazy. So you could discard off a Droplet, discard off a Super Poly, discard off a Fallen Albaz. You will get the kit, so this is going to be one of your most reliable ways to loop the Mirrorjade once this does come out. I called it a mile away. I thought this would be random branded, and it will be random branded. So let me show you some setups in game, which I was talking about, so it actually lines up. All right, so I wanted to show you guys like the different ways in practice that you can actually end up looping the Jade. So, you know, this is a very standard hand with Shrouded, Cartesia, Luber, High Spirits. This is, yeah, a 4-card combo, but like, first of all, this will come up sometimes, and second of all, this is mainly just to show you the different ways that you can loop the cards. So, of course, as always, you start High Spirits in the draw phase, so you can play Round Droll and Lockbird. Sending the Shrouded Dragon, sending the Titaniclad to get into the rotation. Now we have Shrouded in Graveyard, though, so we can special out the cart. And then in this case, this is going to... Let's just get the Golden Sword Soul here. And now that we can go into the phase, go Cartesia. Since we have an Albaz in the graveyard, go Aluber effect. Then to get the Branded Fusion. And here we can go Branded Fusion. Send the Lubellion... plus the Albaz in order to go into the Albion. Very standard play here. And then go Albion effect, banish out the Aluber plus the Albaz in the graveyard in order to go out to the Lubellion. And then you can go Chainlink 1 Lubellion, discarding the Golden Sword Soul. And then you can go fuse back the Lubellion plus Albaz. And then you can go into the Mirrorjade. So this is very standard, right? So we're going to tribute over the Albion, go into the Lubellion. Lubellion effect, get Branded Lost. This is quite important, especially post Burst Protocol when you have the Tri-Brigade Spriggan's Kit, because this is how you can search it. So we can go Cartesia effect, fuse itself off into the Grand Guignol, and then go Grand Guignol, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Branded Lost. And here we can just decide what we really want to do here. I think that if this is post Burst Protocol, obviously we just end up searching out Spriggan's Kit if we want that as an additional interruption, and then we do still have the Grand Guignol effect to now just end up sending the Adlib, because Adlib is just like one of the best options that you can have in rotation in order to guaranteed loop the Mirrorjade. However, there are definitely like other options too, right? Because you could just send the lock here. So this is just to show you guys though. So we go into the end phase, go Albion effect, get the Branded in red, which is quite important. And then, or you could do, right, like Branded Banishments, like really whatever at that point. But then we can go for the Titaniclad, go into the Quem, go Quem effect, send the Albaz to the graveyard. And now we are fully loaded with the graveyard. We can also go for Cartesia effect if we really wanted to, but I do like I think we can do that because we have Golden Sword Soul in the hand, or sorry, in the graveyard, and then we can pass to our opponent. And just like normally, this will just kind of show you the multiple different layers that we can have to actually loop the Jade. So here's Jade number 1. We wait for our opponent to summon a monster. We send Rinbrum always as our first Jade target. Then we remove whatever monster they put out. At this point, since we just triggered the Golden Sword Soul, we can go Golden Sword Soul effect, banish itself, summon out the Cartesia. And now Cartesia can go Cartesia effect to fuse off the Grand Guignol, plus the Mirrorjade in order to go into the Stapelia, and then we can go Chainlink 1 Quem to Chainlink 2 Lost, Underbranded Lost, and the Quem's going to just target the Mirrorjade. So now we have our second Mirrorjade, can summon that out, and then get another interruption in the form of like Mercurier or something, right? And of course, at this point, now we have the second Jade. We can go Jade effect, send even more follow-up, the Stigmata Devouring Dragon. That's always great. We can get Fallen the Virtuous in the end phase, and then just remove another body that your opponent puts out there. And then, of course, you're like, okay, that's only the second Jade. Well, then you have Branded in red, which can then target the Adlib in the graveyard, add it to hand, and then banish off the Jade plus... Really, it's just whatever you can find at this point with our kind of current extra deck. So we can just banish off the Adlib plus the Mirrorjade for the Quertus here. Now, you might be like, Quertus isn't that great, but now we can trigger the Adlib to then summon out the Mirrorjade, right? So there's a lot of different ways in order to get the third Jade, and then we can go Jade Effect again, send Albion for even more follow-up, and then remove a third body. And then we still have the Stapelia plus the Mercurier. And if we have even more things here, let's just say we have Super Poly, right? If we have Super Poly is so crazy with Tri-Brigade Spriggan's Kit because we can go Super Poly, fuse off the Mirrorjade by discarding Tri-Brigade Spriggan's Kit, and then make something, whether that's like another Grand Guignol, let's just say with this, we can then go, you know, Chainlink 1 Grand Guignol, Chainlink 2 Spriggan's Kit, revive the Mirrorjade, and then that's your fourth Mirrorjade, and you still have Sens at this point, right? Like, as long as you have a Lubellion in your extract plus another interruption, like, you're always just, like, in the game with Branded. So that's just kind of showing you how, like, on most 3 to 4 card combo hands, you can loop Jade up to 3 to 4 times, and right, if we still had Sanctifier in rotation, that would have been a 5th time if we had a way to fuse off the Mirrorjade, and sometimes your opponent, right, will put it in the graveyard for whatever reason. That gives us a prime way to loop it if we have a way to Sanctifier. So, like, there are just so many different ways to loop Jade, and just keeping in mind, like, combos like this will definitely help that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to see more how to play Branded episodes, let me know down below. Do you guys, and what topics you guys want to see, please let me know, because I covered siding patterns. Someone wanted that. So if you guys want something to see something specific, let me know. Once again, this is going to be a compendium playlist, so that we're going to make like 100+ episodes on this, and then put this into like basically a full 20-hour video for people to watch eventually. So I do appreciate it. I just want all the information to be there for Branded players so that they have a great free resource to learn the deck from. So with that being said, we will be seeing you guys later. If this video gets 150 likes, we will make another video. And with that being said, bye now. Have a great day. Love you guys. Bye.